What is up, everybody? Great2G here, and today we're going to be talking about stats in Diablo Immortal. All the stats, all the things. A lot of them are pretty straightforward, but there's some that require some explanation, and I'll explain it all to you. Before we get started, though, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and all that stuff. All your support is greatly appreciated. Alright, so we'll start off with the main 5 stats here. Strength, Intelligence, Fortitude, Vitality, and Willpower. And if you're a Diablo fan, if you played Diablo before, you might be wondering, you're playing a Demon Hunter with Strength, what the heck? Where's your Dexterity? So yeah, Dexterity is not a thing in this game. Basically, you have Strength and Intelligence. If you're a Spellcaster, you use Intelligence. If you're not a Spellcaster, you use Strength. So, Strength for Demon Hunters, Strength for Barbarians, and so on and so on. Alright, so what Strength does is increases your damage up here for Demon Hunter, and your offense and defense rating. So you'll see a trend here with offense and defense rating, which is pretty cool. I really like this stat system that they've got going here. So we have strength, just straight increases your damage. And then we have fortitude, which does require some explanation, but increases your armor penetration, offense, and defense rating. We'll go into the further explanation after we just go through these 5 stats real quick. Vitality, which increases your life, offense, and defense rating, and willpower, which increases your potency, resistance, offense, and defense rating. Okay, so strength and vitality were pretty straightforward, right? They increase your damage and your offense defense rating. Vitality increases your life and offense defense rating. So fortitude and willpower are a little bit more interesting. One thing I want to make a note of before we even get into the fortitude and stuff is that every single stat increases your offense and defense rating. So, it's just really, really cool. So even if you're increasing, you want fortitude for your armor, you're also increasing your offense rating, you're getting vitality for life, and you're still increasing your offense rating. So you don't actually feel bad at all for like taking vitality or having an item drop with vitality on it, because it's like, oh, it still increases my offense rating. So that's pretty nice. I really think that's a really, really brilliant system they have here. All right, so fortitude and armor penetration. So it increases your armor and armor penetration. So armor, I mean, it just reduces all damage taken for a certain amount and increases your block rate. So my block chance is 47%. So every class has a chance to block when they use armor, and it's really interesting that they give this to everybody. But even more interesting is armor penetration, which gives you some armor, ignores some of your enemy's armor, and increases your critical hit chance. So if you noticed, like my highest stat was fortitude, and that's for a reason, because crit chance is king. 25% crit chance from armor penetration. So I think pretty much every class will probably want to be focusing mainly on fortitude as much as you can. I mean, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to, the stats are completely random on some of this gear. I got lucky to get some with some pretty good fortitude stats. This one has a bit of fortitude. This has a bit of fortitude. So yeah, you see, I try to get fortitude on basically everything, and that's why my fortitude is out of control and my crit chance is really, really high. Okay, now let's move on to willpower, which is actually probably the most complicated of all the stats, and is also very, very important. So it increases your potency, resistance, offense, and defense rating. So what that means is potency, which is a really, really interesting stat. What this does is compare against your enemy's resistance, and if your potency is higher than the enemy's resistance, then it increases the durations of your harmful effects like bleeds or poisons or that sort of thing, or burning, by 21%. So I guess if you're playing a lot of classes do have burn and bleeds, and sort of like Barbarian has bleeds. Demon Hunter does have some burning stuff here and there. I feel like this is going to be like the #1 stat probably for Necromancers. I'm sure Necromancers are going to have like crazy amounts of like debuffs and stuff. So this will increase the durations of all your debuffs and stuff like that too. So yeah, potency, really, really cool stat for stuff that like damage over time and that sort of thing. And then you have resistance, which is basically the opposite. You compare that against your enemy's potency to modify the duration of all harmful effects on yourself. So this is very, very important to stay alive. So if my resistance is 66 higher than the potency of monsters my level, reducing durations by 17%. So it reduces durations of all harmful effects by 17%. But the interesting thing here, so let's go ahead and remove some stuff real quick, is it goes in the opposite direction as well. So if I go ahead and look at my resistance right now my resistance is too low, 70 lower than the monsters, so it increases the durations of all harmful effects by 22%. So every poison or whatever that lands on me is going to have an increased duration because my resistance is too low. And the same thing for potency. So now if I put a burn or a bleed on a mob, it's actually going to reduce the duration by 18%, so it's not going to last as long as it normally would. So yeah, the willpower is a very, very important stat. I feel like it's the second most important stat because that's just, you know, especially like for defensive and that sort of thing, like you don't really want stuff lasting longer that hits you. So it's something you should really, really keep an eye on, is make sure your willpower is, you know, at least over the threshold here. So at least you're getting increased durations, or you don't want to have increased durations of debuffs on you. That sucks. Now let's talk about offense and defense rating real quick. This is more or less straightforward. So, okay, the easiest way to explain this is that, like, basically you put your offense rating versus your defense rating. So if you're fighting a mob, you look at your offense rating versus that mob's defense rating, and if the mob's defense rating is higher than your offense rating, you'll do reduced damage. If it's significantly higher than their defense rating, then you'll do increased damage. So mine is actually a lot higher than the defense rating of the monsters on Hell 2, which means all my damage gets increased by 64%. And same for defense rating. My defense rating is much higher than the monsters' offense rating, which means all damage I take is reduced by 38%. And we'll go ahead and remove some items again, and this is where, like, if you try to go to Hell 2 too early, for example, like say you have a 900 offense and 870 defense rating, that means my offense rating is 52 lower, which doesn't seem like a lot, but look at this. 52 lower means my damage is being reduced by 44%. So I'm basically shooting peas at these mobs. And defense rating of 144 lower means all damage I will take would be increased by 132%. So that's how offense and defense rating work in a nutshell. I feel like later on I might do a deeper dive on offense and defense rating and like really look at the math and see how it actually all works out. Like, how much offense rating do you need for 1% and that sort of thing. But we're just going over the stats right now. We'll go into deeper dives probably at release, because you know this is all subject to change. This is just alpha. And then we have accuracy rating, which I'm not. I guess there's an evasion rating stat that some enemies may have. So if an enemy has evasion rating, then you need accuracy rating to kind of offset that. There's really not many items with. I haven't seen. Actually, I do. I have seen a couple items with accuracy rating. I haven't seen anything with evasion rating though. Critical hit chance. This is separate from the critical hit chance from armor penetration. You can find items with critical hit chance on them. I believe I have one here. Yeah, so this one right here. So if I equip this right now, then this critical hit chance will raise on this category, giving me a total of 29% crit chance. Critical resistance goes against critical hit chance. And critical hit damage. I haven't seen a single thing with critical hit damage. Attack speed, pretty straightforward. Speed of skills and primary attacks. I have seen a few things with attack speed. Cooldown reduction, that's also pretty straightforward as well. Movement speed, armor piercing, increases the chance to completely ignore enemy armor. That's interesting. Yeah, that'd be nice to have. I haven't seen much of that either. Block chance, additional block chance on top of the block chance you get from your armor, right? Yeah. And then life drain. Haven't seen anything with life drain. Cheat death. I've seen a few of these, but yeah, this gives you a chance to actually. I think it heals you to full. I think it's happened to me. I think early on I had something like this, and I got healed to full out of nowhere, and I was like, I guess that was cheat death. Life regeneration recovers a percentage of maximum health every 5 seconds while not in combat. So this is kind of useless because you're pretty much always in combat in this game. And then magic find, which you can get from the Paragon Treasure Hunter tree. And that's pretty much it for stats. Like I said, I feel like, I mean, this may change later on in development, but yeah, I feel like Fortitude should be your #1 stat, followed probably by Willpower, and then Strength and Vitality. But yeah, it's kind of hard. Like, I feel like Willpower and Strength may be about even, but Fortitude, I think, has to be #1 by far. Anyway, I hope that video was quick enough. Quick overview of all the stats and stuff. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and follow me on twitch.tv/grade2g and twitter.com/grade2g. I can't wait to see you guys in my streams. I'll be streaming much more often these days, starting soon. But for now, peace out, GG's, and we'll see you next time.